up? We are back. Thank God. Oh, it's been rough. It's been 2 weeks without our lovely fans. It's been one. But we missed y'all. We got a lot of news to catch up with. I am your girl, Miss Nicole. To my left, no, my right, I got Bonnie here. What up, lady?
What up?
Hey, girl. Over there, we got Yusuf sitting off in the cut.
Hey,
y'all. Mama is in the background in case y'all was wondering. She's with us tonight. And I am excited because this is the most epic collab in podcast history. I got the Weekend War Zone with Jazz in the house. Please say hi to us, people.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jazz, Weekend War Zone. And I have my co-host with me, Miss Nala with Pop Your Shit Podcast over there.
Yes. So you can always make sure that on the Culture Shock, we will make sure that we hype both of their podcasts up. If you support us, do us a favor, go support them. # support Black Podcasts. We love it. So short story. If y'all ever wonder where I got Miss Nicole from, it was from Jazz. We were gonna work together way back when on a podcast, and I was like, I didn't know how to start one, and she was kind of helping me. And so I was like, I wanted to come up with a name, and so she's like, you could go with your middle name. Well, me and Jazz have the same middle name, so she said, well, you can be Miss Nicole, and it's just stuck ever since. So she's the one who gave me my nickname, y'all. Hey. So let's get started, because you know what? It's been a hell of a week or two. And it's been crazy, and we got some craziness to talk about. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So I don't even know where to begin with this. Okay, we're going to start at the top. So shout out, first of all, I just want to talk about this one, because this story, I was like, shout out to the little boy. So there was a boy who was being bullied at school. A white boy who was being bullied at school, had been bullied by the same bully for like 5 years. He popped the bully in the mouth and beat that ass, and they gave the boy who had been bullied OSS for 5 days. The bully and his little minions got like a couple days, and that was it. But they suspended the little boy because he resorted to violence. Now, mind you, mom had said something to the teachers, administration. They had been saying something. They weren't doing anything. And the little boy popped him in the mouth, and he got 5 days. But I tell you what, they said it hit the bully, and all his little minions fell back. So what are our thoughts on this, guys? Let's talk.
That seems the case.
I mean,
what you
like, you gonna keep on playing. Now I, took you up on your offer, and now you know the business.
Man, I mean, and it's sad that it comes down to that, because it's like, this shows you the kind of world we live in, that you can't even send your kids to school without there being a legit, and I mean, there's always been like a safety concern, of course, because we live in that time period where there are school shootings and psychos and all of that. But when you got to worry about your kid being bullied, and they can't take care of something as basic as a bully, and then your kid gets suspended, I would have been like, you know what, kid? Not only are you all in OSS, but we're going to go on vacation, because mommy is proud of you. You handled it.
How old did they say how old he was?
Oh, they were in middle school.
Middle school, okay. Honestly, situations like that kind of bother me too, because it just shows how much, like, when you're raising a child, because I have 2 kids of my own, when you're raising a child, you want them to be able to trust certain people, okay? Yeah. You can trust police officers, you can trust your teacher when things are serious, you can trust your parents, but it's like when situations like that happen, you can't trust them. You've ran to your teachers multiple times. They've,
And it's documented, so it's not like, it's not like mom just said something and that was that, or no, they have it documented like all the times that mom has come in and said something, and the teachers were just like, oh, okay, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna address. Well, apparently they didn't address it enough, because he got his mouth busted. And I'm proud of the little boy. We here at the Culture Shock are proud of this young man, and we fully support you. I can't speak for the Weekend War Zone, but us, young man, we support you. Good job. Thoughts and prayers.
I always wondered what causes that to happen. How there's such a trend in school with kids being bullied and then nothing happening until they do something to the bully. It's a theme that we've seen time and time again. I wonder what is there like a standard that teachers have to hold? Is there a rule that says they can't Are you not allowed to like confront bullies at school until something gets physical? Because this happens way too often.
See, the thing that I think about, I think people, not so much as the bullies, you got to take it to the home. You have to confront the parents and what's going on, because 9 times out of 10, bullies either come from broken homes or they come from homes where they don't receive enough attention. So therefore, they take it to the school. So I feel like in order to fix that, you have to holler at the parent and see what's going on with the parent, because that's the main focus. If they're not if they're not regulating their house, then at the end of the day, you're gonna have a lot of instances like that.
Absolutely. I
don't know, it just makes me think about how many stories we hear nowadays of like school shootings too, and a lot of the school shooters are like, I was bullied, and so like
that always.
I also think about that too. So, but I'm just glad you just.
I just don't understand how bullying has been consistently a problem in the American school system forever. Like, how have we never fixed this issue?
Americans are bullies.
Right.
It's a cultural thing.
So, I don't know if y'all grew up watching it like I did. I was a big Degrassi fan when I was a kid. Like, my mom can tell you that, like, that was like our childhood. That was our Empire, Young and the Restless. That was our soap opera, right? So that's where Drake, if people don't know, that's where Drake got his start. He was Jimmy, okay? And Jimmy got shot. Drake got shot. So if you ever see the memes on Facebook, I remember back when Jimmy could walk, or before Jimmy could walk, I remember Drake has this, and it showed him in the wheelchair. That's where it's from. And that was a prime example where he and a bunch of his friends bullied this boy to the point the boy came back to school. Like, they went as far, and it was based on a true story, I think. They went as far as, like, put yellow paint on this boy and sprinkle feathers on him. And Drake was behind it and some of the other students. And this boy came back to school with a shotgun and shot up the school. And that was the first. Yeah, no, it wasn't a sitcom. It was like a kid,
like a drama,
like a teen drama, kind of thing. And he shot up the school. And I'm sitting here like, that was the first time. So, like, of course, now me being me, I'm going to Merrill, and we. Like, so it was me, Melissa Rose, Chriselle, we all in a frenzy because he done came back and shot up the school. So, of course, this leads our parents to have a conversation with us. Like, hey, this can really happen if you bully a person. This is an example of what, even though it's TV, this can actually happen. And I'm like, what? Oh, my God. But now I see it, and I'm like.
And how old were you then?
About 8, 9.
So you take it like serious, or you just like, yeah, it can happen, kind of brush it off? I mean,
no, I looked at it as, me.
Well, she kind of looked at it as it was just TV at the time.
Okay,
yeah. See, me, I was kind of like, oh, okay. But then as I got older and got to middle school, and I witnessed my friends being bullied, and I've witnessed personal friends of mine who were like contemplating coming back to school and wanting to do those kinds of things. I was like, this is actually real. This can actually happen. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna throw out a quick story really fast.
Go ahead.
I like to call myself like a crazy parent because, like, no, I put my kids in really messed up. I don't put them in messed up positions, but I give them messed up scenarios. Like, what are we about to do, kids? Like, the other day we went to Dollar General, and of course we're in line. They actually listed the bathroom last minute. This dirty ass bathroom. So we had to
right
go.
About it.
We teamwork. We all got to go together. Like, turn around, Kaden. Don't look. Like. And I'm like, okay, guys. I'm like, man, what if? And they're in there playing around. So I'm like, seriously, what if somebody came in here with a gun right now, like in the store? What are you gonna do? Well, we're gonna run out. No, you're gonna get shot. So this is what we're gonna do. And I'm like, Kaden. I'm gonna put you in the ceiling first. You gonna grab your sisters, pull you up. We're gonna sit up there and wait. Had it all planned out to a T, but it's sad you have to do those type of precautions.
It is, but it's true.
Here, we're gonna make it out alive.
Okay.
All of us.
Right, and it is. It's sad that when you, like example, I was at work, and mom can tell you, like, I have that kind of job where I can, talk on my phone or whatever for a little bit, and mom can tell you, I called her and I said, hey, just sit on the phone with me for a little bit, and I'm talking in hushed tone because it's a dude who's there for an interview, and how I'm talking to y'all, he's flat out talking to himself,
laughing.
and she said
yesterday,
she said, does he have a headpiece in or an earpiece? I said, no, because y'all know me. I done got up and I done peeped the situation. I done walked around like I'm going to the production floor. This man has no headset. He's flat out talking to himself. I called her. I said, just sit here with me for a second. He went back for his interview, and I turned my whole body. I said, ain't nobody sneaking up on me today, and I know if I got to get out, I'm going over this counter and shooting out the door. And I'll call 911 from my car down the block and around the corner, more like at my house. Jesus' name, amen.
Gosh, it's crazy that we have to think about that because I definitely have been at work like, okay, maybe I should keep my car keys in my pocket just in case something
I keep my car keys in my pocket.
I can run to the exit. I'll be good. I can drive off my car keys.
I keep mine around my neck all day. They stay around my neck, and my phone is always plugged up with a full charge. I don't play. Speaking of bullies, we're gonna transition. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
When the parent is the bully. Coming up on the culture shock. My mom is a bully. No, I'm just kidding. No, so you guys know that I told you that that we were gonna be talking about LGBTQ, and that was something that we were gonna talk about. We talked about it in the group chat. So keep this. Side note, he's black. Dad took his son, packed a bag, and took his son and said, I'm taking you so you can find a new home, because he assumed that the son, who's 12, was gay because he was watching porn on his cell phone. Left 2 kids at home unattended to take his son to the police department to say that they're going to find you a new home. He didn't even make it to the police department. He dropped his son off on the side of the highway. No food, no money, no nothing to drink, no way to call for help. And somebody who was driving saw it and called 911. They got in touch with mom, and when mom, they got to the police office or to the police station, mom saw the son, he was okay. Come to find out, like I said, dad left 2 other kids unattended at home to take his son because he assumed he was gay because he was watching male porn. Okay, guys. Go ahead. We're going to let this soak in. We're going to give it 3, as my godmama said. We're going to let it soak in. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. Go ahead. Somebody say something.
Well, for one,
and we ain't got no filters on here, so speak freely.
Nothing bad, but obviously the father obviously came from a home that wasn't obviously prepared him for that. But a lot of people fail to realize, like, obviously it's not a good situation. He didn't make the right choice, but a lot of times people fail to realize, like, that's a sense of hurt. That's him hurting right there. He did that to his son because he's hurt. And it's not an excuse for him because that was a poor option to take, but he's hurt. And actually, I had a conversation with one of my friends he has 4 sons. He told me, he was like, if any of my sons are gay, he's like, I honestly would disclaim them. And I asked him, like, why? What's the reasoning behind that? He was like, it's not the fact that they're gay or having, like, sexual activity. It's the fact that, like, I don't want my son being no punk. I don't want my son, excuse my language, being the bitch of the relationship. Right. He's like, that's going to hurt my soul. If anything, he's like, my son has to be the man. I want him to be masculine. Just like, still, you don't got to disclaim him. Right. But anything like the boy might be fine. Like you said, he's in safety, out of harm's way, but he's ruined. I mean, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but it's a fact. He's going to grow up like, he's ruined. I've ruined my dad's thought of me. Like, my dad's not going to accept me. Like, that's a lot to take in.
Especially because he might not even end up being gay.
I mean, I believe you're right. I mean, a lot of people got weird porn fetishes. Like,
and you didn't even try to have like a talk with me about it. Like,
that's a real thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of males, that hurts their ego in general. Just to think of, your son being sexually active with another man, and too many times, too often, like, that happens in a lot of cultures. Like, especially you got some like the Arabic or like Middle Eastern type of parents, they'll kill you. Like, on both sides, the guys or the girls. And definitely a lot of Black parents, when it comes to the ignorance of just literally like accepting your child. I mean, I believe that people are born gay. You have some people that are out here just like freak bodies, but majority of the people, like, I don't think that somebody want to take on that decision. Like, if they could really change it just to like go through the things, like coming out or being disowned by your family. So that's unfortunate, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to love your kids, and it's like you just didn't care. It's sex trafficking going on, it's crazy people, and it's like, even if he's not gay, you could turn him into a crazy person, a serial killer or whatnot, because you just literally shamed him. And sometimes, like you said, when you're broken and you break your spirit so young, that can turn into a monster, create a monster.
So let's go this route, because I'm trying to tell you, I just, as I get older, and it's so sad to say it, because growing up, everybody knew me. I was always at church. I was always in church. I just got to the point now where I'm like, I'm probably too rude to be in church anywhere, because I just had a conversation with a person who, and I've never been asked this before, but it was a person in church, and she asked me, why do you support LGBTQ? So my response being, after I was like, what kind of question is that?
Like, why not?
My answer was, love is love. I feel like, and I do, I wholeheartedly feel like anybody should be able to love whomever you want to love. It ain't my business who you love. It ain't my business what you choose to do sexually, how you want to get it, whatever. Love is love. And she asked me, she said, well, don't you think that's condoning sin? Excuse me? And she said, well, it's a sin. God said that it's a sin. And you're condoning sin. And my godmom, I talked to her about it. My mom was sitting there. I talked to my godmom about it, who's a pastor at New Covenant Life in Beloit. And she said, you're not condoning it. She said, we're still loving the person, no matter what their decisions are. So she said, you may have a family member who smokes, weed. We may not support it because we don't have that lifestyle, but we still love them either way. I think a big issue as well is you have so many people, especially in church, they're so goddamn judgmental. You're supposed to be a representative of the Almighty himself, and you sitting up judging the next person when you got shit yourself that you need to be. I mean, you really sitting up, and I mean, you find that so much, especially in the black church. Especially in the black church, you see that a lot, where they gonna sit up and judge you because, oh, she's a girl and she likes women. Oh my God, he's a man and he likes men. Like, I could have swore Jesus loved everybody. God loved everybody. I could have swore when God created the earth and when Jesus did his thing on the cross, I thought he did it for everybody. I guess I have a wrong interpretation. Give me your thoughts on that.
See,
Go ahead, Big Doug.
See, there's this really paradoxical situation that tends to happen in the black community that I'm always really frustrated by with homophobic issues and whatnot. And I understand a whole lot of it is definitely because we had a whole lot of Central European ideals enforced on us. Like, black people in Africa had not a whole lot of problems on homosexuality. Most people, except for Central Europeans, were okay with homosexuality until white people started taking over the world.
Most people, except for Central Europeans, were okay with everything.
Right. So it's always really upsetting to me that we can be persecuted and looked down on, and then not take that experience and then attribute it to the homosexual experience. Understand that we're condoning these same things when people condemned us. It's really frustrating to see that you can, as a black man, know that you went through your life being looked down on, and then have a son that's gay and then do that same thing to him for a sexual orientation. Yeah. It's just insane to me that you can't see that this is two sides of the same coin right now.
Yeah.
I just feel like in general, the Bible is a very judgmental thing. I believe in the Lord, and however you want to identify with him, I believe that's a higher power. But the Bible itself, everything's a sin in the Bible. If you overeat, gluttonous, lying, stealing, and everything like that. And I think people have to kick it up a notch and literally know thyself. And that's why it takes time out to literally learn your history and go beyond that. Because honestly, the Bible was forced upon us through the slavery. Christianity was given to us by our oppressors. So it's a little more deeper than that. And I feel especially when it comes to homophobic thing, because you have the Catholics or the Jews, they perform an oral sex type of thing on the baby when they're christening them or something
It's a Jewish tradition.
And it's
why? Go ahead.
It's beyond, and it's this is literally what they do. The pastor, the priest will literally
rabbis, when they get circumcised, they'll kiss the baby penises. I don't know why they
put in your mouth in general. What is this? Why? How did this?
Yeah.
Why? So I feel
I learned about it, so I know. I'm
I believe in God. I believe in the highest.
It was a hell of a class.
But the Bible and churches in general, people believe churches are just places and things like that. Anybody can run it. Anybody can speak. You had whole cults that train people to kill. So I feel if anybody
drink the Kool-Aid.
So.
And I think too, to go off of what she said, like she said, the Bible, I think a lot of it too, and this is something that my godmom taught me. This is something that my grandparents taught me, and they were all big in church. You have to take the context. You have to look at and we were just having this conversation tonight. You have to look at the context. You got to look at. You can't just take a portion of the word and then you gonna say, okay, this is what it means. So there you go. You have to look at, okay, why was it written? What was going on at the time that this was written? What was the context? You have to read what came before and what came after. What we see so many times today is preachers, so-called preachers, will take a portion of the word and twist it so that it matches something, like you said, to judge somebody else. So example, me and one of my cousins was talking, and she said, well, the woman who told you that, she got her ears pierced, because that's a sin. And my godmom, she was telling us tonight, she said, she said, a portion of that is correct. She said in the Bible, they were piercing it when it came to the idol worship, having idol worship and having different idols. And so when it comes to the point that you're worshiping a piercing or something like that, you're idol worshiping, that's when it becomes a sin. So you really have to take the context of it. But again, you have so many of those who claim they're called by God and really ain't called by nobody but they own mind.
Also, to be completely fair, in this story, we don't know if this dad is Christian. And I think Christianity in the Black community is a whole issue. But it also is fair to say that there's a whole lot of toxic masculinity involved in this too, because this could completely not have any Christian influence to it. And this is still a phenomenon that could happen because especially Black men right now, are really struggling to define their own masculinity. Yes. And I think it's a really threatening thing. Like you said, you don't want your son to be a punk, not realizing the whole time that you can bang as many dudes as you want as a guy and fuck anybody up. Like, you can work out in the gym 24/7, fuck anybody's life up, and then if you could, like, bang another dude, does it make you, like, less able to beat somebody's ass? Like,
Well, then you gotta look at, too, Dwayne Wade. Mm-hmm. That whole picture with his family, I felt bad. I can honestly say I felt bad for his son. I commend D-Wade on what he did as far as he stepped out and said that hatred and he stood up for his son. I love that because, I mean, because his son is gay. Okay, so first of all, people was talking about what he's got on a crop top and nails. Big fucking whoop. People were saying
crop tops. They're amazing.
Right, but they were saying like he's a failure as a parent because his son is gay and he accepts it. And I'm like, when did that? I feel like if you didn't accept your child for who they are and what they are, that you would be a failure. Right. I'm so confused by that.
Yeah, I never get that notion where I feel like you hear a lot of times with parents just in general, they like, or especially when they're expecting a child, like, no matter what, like, I'm always going to love this child. And then this child comes out like, hey, I'm gay. And then they're like, hold up. I wasn't talking about that.
I mean, if you didn't
I'm going to support you. I'm going to love you and support you within reason.
Yeah,
my reasons.
There are a few exceptions to that rule. So I never personally understood that. But going back to that story, it's just him getting caught watching porn and it's male pornography. Like, first of all, I feel like he could have just be curious. Like, kids are curious. He's in middle school and like he has a cell phone, so you don't think he was like, well, I got done watching all these dudes mess, have sex with all these women. Like, what does gay porn look like? Or you get stuck hitting those related videos. I'm just saying. And there are a lot of things. It just escalates until he got to gay porn. So I mean, like, it could have took emotion. It could have took that time to just sat down with them and be like, look, caught you watching this porn. You ain't supposed to be watching because you're supposed to be 18 plus. But like,
do you have any questions?
You guys?
Is there something you want to talk about?
Yeah. Are you having certain feelings? Because that is the time puberty is happening. Hormones are causing changes. Sexual interest is starting to come into play. I mean,
he reacted off anger.
Yeah, he reacted.
Nala and I, on one of our podcasts that we do, we had talked about over sexualizing children. Like you said, Dwayne Wade's son was 12.
Right. Yeah.
personally, I have kids. I don't want my 12-year-old wearing a crop top. I understand that's not that big a deal, 16,
right.
belly button pierced, whatever. But like as a 12-year-old, I don't want my 12-year-old male or female wearing a crop top. I feel like you don't even got like the right body for it yet. You know what I mean?
Right,
like, you just
right.
and like people. I feel like it was over sexualized.
I agree.
I do agree on that. But like again, like if he's gay, shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
I mean, who cares? Like, but yeah, you don't. Especially even like. I don't know. I'm trying to think of when I started getting my nails done. His nails were fabulous. So
They were.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
They were.
I think I started getting my nails done maybe 15 or 16. So I do feel like it was maybe okay a little fast. But like if he's gay, let him do his thing. Like you got the baddest bitch in the world, so it don't matter.
Right.
Like
right.
But, see what I have to say with that. I just feel like we're always judged to an unfair standard because, like, even with Dwayne Wade, I feel like kids in general, like. You can support your kids, but you can like, hey, right about now, I do feel that he's a little too young, but support him. Yeah. But I feel like it's always the standard that we are always attacking each other. Charlize Theron can raise her little black boys as girls. Angelina Jolie can raise her daughter as a son, and it's okay. I mean, hell, Hugh Hefner can have a whole house, but R. Kelly's in jail for having the same thing. People can marry their daughters and do whatever, but every time it comes over on this side of the fence, and it's never the other people. It's always us. Like we don't have our back at all. So it's a cultural thing in general.
It is.
We knock each other down so much. We're the only ones that's like, oh, he's bogus. You should not let your son do this and that. But like I say, on the other side, people let their kids be kids and no one have anything to say. Going back to, it's off topic, but like the Summer Walker thing. She can't have anxiety, but Demi Lovato can. And different things like that. So see, that's the part.
See, she is in my brain because she just made a wonderful transition. She made a wonderful transition because when, like you said, it's a cultural thing. We cut each other down. We cut each other down. Did y'all see the story? And I think maybe I sent it to y'all, but I know I sent it to our group chat. Y'all saw the story where the NBA player, and see, this is where, I'm just giving a disclaimer. I'm very transparent. I don't fight me. I'll say what I said. I don't care. I'm very open. I'm an open book, and I say that often. My mom is here, so she knows I'm an open book. I told her what I was going to talk about before we got here, and she was like, relax. I'm raw. I don't care. Where the basketball player said that that he puts his wife on a pedestal. She's a white woman, and he said that he would rather be with her than be with the Bulldogs, meaning black women. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's insane because. Y'all wouldn't even believe it.
See, you know what? We spoke about this on our podcast because
more detail.
Yeah, more detail. And usually a lot of guys, you know what? A lot of black dudes, they do fun on their own sisters and stuff like that. But now you got to look at it deeper. It's a mother and a son connection. Usually if you have a ratchet mama who's represented the wrong thing, it's like my first, my first I can't even talk, my encounter with a woman is my mom, and she's disrespectful and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go for the opposite person. Or you just have people who are like, literally, how do you say you love your mother or your grandmother and you don't even date your own race? But usually I'm starting to see a correlation with certain men who act that way in like their mothers or their sisters and things like that. Like,
see, and I've come from a different, and like I said, I'm an open book. I don't care. I don't care. I'll say it. I come from a very different background where I grew up with a father who was embarrassed because I'm black. My mama is black. I know your face was like the fuck. Yes, and I'll say it, and I don't care. I'll say it. My mother is black. And I've had many of his family members, many of his friends I've had his family members who said, just recently talking to some of my family members down south who said, Lexi, honestly, we were shocked when he got with your mom because he's always been with white women before he got with her. So we were shocked that he was actually with a black woman. I've had some of his friends who have met me who said, and to know you have to know that he's a person who I guess he has black friends, but I've seen him always be more around white people. Friends who have told me, we didn't even know he had black kids. We never knew he had a black daughter. That's just kind of out of the ordinary for him. College graduation. I rocked the Kente stole to graduation. I wasn't playing. I had black pride. I done graduated and I rocked the fuck out of a Kente stole. And he asked me, why did you wear a Kente stole? How come you couldn't be uniform like everybody else? He's flat out told me, like, we went to Beloit Memorial. He didn't want me to go to Beloit Memorial because he said that it was too ghetto. He's flat out called me ghetto. He told me that I'm ghetto. I have too much black pride. We don't need black business. And I don't know, and I haven't even tried, and I don't really care to try and figure out where all of this is coming from. But I mean, it is like, I grew up where with my mom, we could grow up. Y'all remember when the word was tight and that was dope, and we could say all that. He did not allow me to use slang. I had to talk a certain way. He didn't like me wearing braids in my hair. I had to have my hair a certain way. It was very, he's flat out said, I have too much black pride.
What race is your dad?
Black.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, honestly, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No.
I know you did say that you don't care or even bother to care what the reasoning is, but it might be good just for closure reasons, like to know, like, okay, let's dig deeper. Like, and not even you got to talk to him. Like, I don't know about, your grandparents. Like, what's
my grandfather is that, and my grandmother is. She's the same way.
How was he raised though?
He was shockingly, y'all would be shocked. He was raised in South Beloit by the old school country down from Mississippi. We eating hog maws, pig feet, the stuff that cut your legs off, cut about 10, 15 years off your life because you're eating salt and sugar and but it's one of those where it's just mind-boggling. Yeah. It's mind-boggling. When and like I grew up, y'all remember 105.9 Latone Heart. I grew up listening to that. He didn't want me to listen to that. He wanted me to listen to like the pop stations and the white stations. That's what we're gonna listen to in my house. You listen to that hood. He always called it hood shit. He always called it hood shit. You're gonna listen to that hood shit with your mom, but when you're with me, you're gonna listen to.
See, I wonder what happened to him though that made him.
It's got to be an experience. It definitely does.
If his parents are both black, especially black and down south, then that means he's feeling that.
That might just be that right there. Like you went through, you got to serve face so bad. Yes, ma'am. Like while all the other states transitions and stuff like that, they still had a lot going on. So people sometimes they run towards their problems or they run so far away from it, and being accustomed to all that hog maw, chitlin and stuff like this. Now I'm grown, I can make my own decisions. I'm gonna hate it. So,
but what's twisty about it is, even though that happens, if anybody makes a jab at not being in touch with his black side, or you're not in touch with your black side, or you're not, you don't know how to, as he says, cook black, he gets very offended.
Oh, really?
Sounds like a whole.
It sounds like a whole bunch of self-hate that is going on with him.
That's what I'm thinking.
And I think we should also talk about that in the community when we see a lot of black men dissing and being downright disrespectful when it comes to talking about black women, because there is a lot of self-hate, and then we also do live in a country where there's a lot of shade and a lot of disrespect thrown at black women just in general. Like, you look at, just type in right now in Google search, look up beautiful women, look up gorgeous women, and who are you going to see? You're not going to see a lot of black women there. You open up a magazine, all the different fashion, like, let's look pretty magazines, like, you're not going to see a lot of black women. They're getting better now, but let's be honest.
And notice we have to have different movements in order to support. So like we can't just have just be mainstreamed in and just be beautiful women in general. Right. But now you notice we got the melon popping and the black queens and the different groups that help black people and black women to love themselves, and it's just insane.
I think what Jasmine said too is very relevant about that relationship with mothers, and then also relationship with other black youth and like while you're growing up. Because I'm gonna be real, for a long time I only liked black girls, like exclusively. and black girls kept fucking clowning me. I'd be like, yo, you're pretty. Like, yo, fuck out of here. I'm like, all right, I tried.
Yeah.
And so for a while, I was like, oh, I don't think I like. And then my mom would accuse me only liking white girls before I even liked a girl. So for like 8 years, I thought I didn't like black girls. And then one time, my mom was like, you like white girls? I'm like, hold up, I do like black girls. You've been saying this for so long. But there's a lot of like hate, especially with it, and that's another like men not being able to communicate their feelings. Maybe your dad liked some little black girl one day and got roasted so bad he was just like, no, can't do it again.
Aaron's sitting over there. If y'all can see the look on Mr. Producer's face right now, he looking Mr. Producer, what are your thoughts right now? You look like you got something to say, Sugar.
No, I can't do it.
Was there a hairline roast to the end?
It's just
That's funny that you bring that up, Yusuf, because I definitely had a coworker who we were talking about like people that we've dated, like the race of the people that we dated. He's like, yeah, I never dated a black girl, and he was black, and I was like, oh really? And he was like, yeah, black girls weren't really looking for me. They weren't interested. I'm like, is it that, or is there something else going on that you don't want to talk about, sir? But I was like, okay, but I can see that.
It's a complex thing. It's a complex thing. And I feel like those girls also probably have some relationships with their fathers too. There's a whole lot of moving parts here. People feeling types of ways and no one be able to communicate.
Right.
Like,
no one talking about the feelings.
Like, we all gotta act so hard all the time about it.
I think we all just need to have one big black challenge day.
We really do.
Cross the line. Cross the line.
Have it in an order.
I do want to go back to something you stated about the overall hate towards black women, because I understand that's a huge thing right now, but a lot of people fail to realize like the hate is, and I'm not blaming anybody obviously, but the hate is brought on themselves. Look at who certain people are looking up to. Everybody wants to get their butt down now. Everybody wants to be the Cardi B stripper. Everybody wants to, oh, I'm stealing your man, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing this, that for money. He's tricking off on me. Like, you gotta understand what people are looking up to.
Yep.
So then,
That's
okay, of course they're gonna act like that. Yeah.
Very valid point.
So
we don't have those.
There's so many things that come into play with that. Like, I mean, obviously, like some women choose to be disrespected, and it's sad to say that. But like, as long as he's tricking off on me or spending money on me, ooh, he can call me all types of bitches. Like, but some people are just, that's the thing they look up to. That's
See, on one hand, I totally get that, but on the other hand, all those things that black men like to judge, like black women about the twerk, bringing a twerk video to the court. I saw that thing where the guy got free full custody and all that stuff. And I'm not saying like, yeah, judge them all you want, but you'll constantly see the same black dudes go for the exact same quality of white women that are doing the same thing. It's crazy. It's like, you want like, even black girls are too loud. Black men tend to love black women that talk, or white women that talk too much and are disrespectful and rude. It's crazy how much stuff that like that will like being pretty and white you can get away with, especially with black men. It's crazy.
It's not even that. It is literally Willie Lynch. Tighten me up, big. The Willie Lynch syndrome. Like I say, we're always judged at a different standard. Like going back to that, like how you said, oh, you look at the standards of beauty and stuff like that. You don't see a lot of black people, and it's actually the opposite. We set the standard of everything. Like the reason why people come and they take the shit from us, and then they may enhance it. Motherfuckers,
we grown.
People been having asses and titties and things like that, but you get Kim Kardashian. Okay, well let me go ahead and take it up a notch and get it bigger, or get the hip augmentations and stuff like that. We wear dreadlocks and it's unprofessional. You can't have it, but you have Kylie Jenner throw some braids up in her hair. It's like, oh my God, these cornrows are the new thing. It's always, we're not held at the standard of how we literally shape the culture. It's all fun to be black until it's time to be black. And some people, people do too much. And I know we have a lot of people on our side that still be up on bullshit, or like you act in a certain type of way and you express ignorance and you think a person is not supposed to judge you like that. But it's like, people still get the concept of like ghetto fucked up. Like ghetto is an ignorant person. You know what I'm saying? That's not a black person. That's not a white person. That's a whoever.
It's an ignorant person.
So like the standards, like I said, we shape a lot of shit, but we're never going to get the credit that we deserve. A lot of people we've been putting on, but when it's time to give us our recognition, it's like, you know, you're going to have Rihanna being, I mean, not Rihanna, Kim Kardashian being the, you know, pioneer of fashion or this and that, or like, you know, we're birthing black queens and stuff like that, but we've been popping. We just don't believe we popping. Like, this shit goes so deep, we're brainwashed.
So it's like she said, and that is a valid point, that it's all fun and games to be black until it comes time for your ass to be black.
That needs to be trademarked.
That does need to be trademarked.
1-800.
Right, because it's so true. Because I've said that to my mom, I've said that to people so many times before. Because you have people now, like the white woman who claiming that she came out with this. She's the one who invented the do-rag. She claims she invented the do-rag, that somebody took her idea, but it was her who came up with the do-rag. There's a white woman who's saying that she came out with the idea for black women to wear bonnets, and it was her idea. And again, we're not held to the same standard, because even again, look, we ain't moving back forward for no reason. We live in Janesville. Even though Janesville is a hop, skip, and a goddamn jump up the highway, we are, let me tell you, I was terminated from a job because I was told I did not fit the description of what their employees looked like. I was the only black anything in there. Now, there was a white girl who worked there, and she could come in and she could talk to everybody in there like they was just trash. And it was okay. But when I was educated and I articulated myself and said, I'm not sure what's going on, but you will not speak to me in that manner. I wasn't loud. I wasn't in her. You ain't finna be talking. No, I was very calm. And when I did that, I got called in the office and they said, well, you're disrespectful, you're combative, you're aggressive, and they was talking about they wanted to put me, they said that they considered sending me to anger management classes through the job because I said, so because I defended myself, I need anger management, and that's what got me terminated, because I said, so you're saying I need anger management? Well, you honestly don't fit the description of what our employees look like, so we've decided to separate you from the company. We held at a different standard. Those are key phrases, and that's something that people need to educate. Yeah, they need to educate themselves on that, because of course they had me do an exit interview with the head of HR, and when I broke it down to her, what was going on, what was said, how I was treated, then she said, well, I think, she said, because this is a clear case of racism, but I think that it's a system-wide issue. I don't think it's just here. I said, it is just here. I said, because in Janesville, that's the place where you go, where I go into a store to buy something with a debit card, and they look at me and say, you can't use food stamps to buy this. Bitch, I make too much money for food stamps. Get your facts in order. This is a U.S. bank debit card. Then all of a sudden he's stumbling over his words. But if a white person were to come in, they just helping them out like it's no problem. We are held at a totally different standard. It's again, black culture and all that. They love our culture. They want to take stuff and rock our culture. But shit hit the ceiling when it comes time to be black for real. Because when you get pulled over, you just get pulled over and that's okay. But when we get pulled over, we done broke out into a sweat because we don't know if we're gonna live or die through a basic police stop. I said what I said. Unsubscribe if you don't like it.
It's a sad thing, and it's a huge thing that you see in white culture destroy stuff. It's crazy. Even when you think about images of Africa and how everyone's like Africa's this and that and that, completely ignoring the fact that like white people decimated Africa before it was this and that and that. I would just love to see, because this isn't something that happens on accident. There was a time when black women, like when you think of even back in the 90s and 80s when we had strong black women characters, we had Martin shows and all this, we had like this cool nuclear black family model. I want to see when that transition happened into this like degradation of like the black woman, like the appearance of black women in media. Like I would very much like to see who contributed a lot to that, because it's so unfortunate.
Got a little intense, a little bit.
Well, what I enjoy, and that's why this is called the culture shock. That's why I love it, because people would be shocked that we're doing something for the culture like this. Because even right now, we're defining stereotypes because, you know, They don't think that we too educated to say too much or nothing. But look at us sitting here having an educated conversation, all of us.
Y'all should just see what I just posted.
Oh, God. That's my mom in the background, y'all. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, it's just
problems that we can't solve now, but we're working on. Like, that's fine.
We gotta unify.
We do.
That's the biggest. Will always be our biggest problem. If we unify and like literally come together, but you know, that's a little bit too much. Like, right? It's gonna take some time. It's been taking a lot of time.
It had a lot of time.
And I'd like to think things are getting better.
Well, even like and this is odd too, because I don't know how much you guys keep up with political news and political you did, but if y'all watch us, you know me, Yusuf and Barney get into it. We just be talking about politics and the stupid asses that's in charge. But even Kamala Harris. Hey, in case y'all didn't know, Kamala Harris has withdrawn from the political race. Thank God, because we wasn't voting for her.
No.
Don't nobody like Kamala. Anyway, even her, because she was so surprised and so shocked that Black people particularly weren't flocking to the polls about her, to polls to support her. Well, you flat out said that you don't relate to Black people. You said that you don't have the same experiences we've had, and that's something that's sad too. Even look, hashtag what they're gonna do, expel us. We graduated in 2012. We ain't scared of y'all. Dr. Monroe, he the superintendent. I don't know if y'all knew the superintendent of the school district of Beloit. Call him a Black man if you want to. He's Black. Call him a Black man if you want to. He get all kind of offended. No, you don't call him shit. Don't call him Black. He'll tell you in a heartbeat, I am not African American. I am French Canadian. And we'll stand in your face and tell Black is his face. Jazz, your face look confused.
Okay.
she was like, yeah, we'll tell you in a heartbeat, I'm not an African American. I am French Canadian. I don't relate to you guys. I don't have the same. And y'all know I'm stupid. I said, oh, okay, he's not, and goes out of his way, will not speak to a Black person. So he was at, okay, you at the NAACP. You at the National Advancement, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, okay? You don't speak to the Black folks. It's a Black organization. You don't speak to the Black folks. Now you hightail it in and you go start talking to the rich white folks. We went to the listening session that he had October 30th. You don't come in and shake hands with the 3 Black people that's sitting there. You go in and shake hands with all the white parents and then go back and sit down. And he will tell you, like I said, he will tell you in a heartbeat, I don't relate to you all. I am not Black. I am French Canadian. And I said this, oh, he ain't French, he ain't Black, he French Canadian, but I bet you the Grand Dragon of the KKK gonna hate you just as much as he hate us.
Can you give a reasoning?
French. I feel like that's just another topic.
That's just a whole
nother topic going into just talking about like what being Black is and who's identified as Black, and why some folks who are Black don't want to be associated with at least Black Americans, because I've experienced that.
Girl.
Where you're like, oh, I'm from Jamaica. And I was like, yeah, but your ass is still Black. So we just Black together. You just got an accent. We got different accents.
If the KKK roll up in the city of Beloit, they're gonna be coming after you.
Yeah.
Before they come after Mr. Producer.
Right.
Just saying.
They're gonna ask Mr. Producer, is he okay?
Look.
And then mess with us. Like,
Look. I'm serious. No, I'm serious. I never I mean, I've seen blatant racists. I've seen people who blatantly are ashamed of who they are and where they come from. But he's just, and I don't mean like he just gets like a little like, no, I mean, he gets flat out offended if you call him Black.
That's his whole dress thing.
I wonder what the reasoning is for that.
It's a sad thing to see.
Yeah.
I would just like to say, officially, as the president of Young Dems, I do not endorse any candidates and or have any problem with Camille Harris that I can speak about on a podcast. I just have to say that before we get to any more conversations about that. Sorry.
All right. I'm just kind of like, how we going? Yeah.
That's fine.
Middle.
Protect himself.
Middle.
That's fine. I always think situations like that are really just kind of amusing to me, just because I like. No, it really is though, because like I'm a biracial human being. I have a white mother and a black father, and I identify as being mixed. Like when people ask me like, "Well, you have to choose one," like I will sit there for a long time, wondering which box to check, because like obviously. What do they say in society? If you have any type of black, you're black. If your father's black, you are predominantly black. Like I grew up predominantly white. I grew up around white people. I didn't grow up around black people. Like it was always stuffing. I didn't have dressing until I was 21. I know. But like,
how did you feel?
Well, I still love stuffing, but I love dressing too now.
You know, and that's something too. But I want to say for the record, I'm black. And I love me some green bean casserole. You gotta get the right white person to make it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting sometimes, like when I explain people, because everyone talks, like, they'll come up to me, like, you talk really proper. I'm like, well, yeah, I grew up in a predominantly white upbringing. I was around white people, like, we did the whole, and I'm not saying certain things are just for white people, like, I went swimming in creeks and lakes, and, you know, like, I did the whole thing, like, that's how I grew up, which is fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but I just, like, when I would go around my dad's side of the family, like, I would feel super uncomfortable, like I didn't know how to really vibe, which is really off, until I really got to understand, you know, who I was and everything else. But I'm not gonna lie to you, like I know white privilege is a thing, but I mean, I take advantage of it. Like my driver's license says I'm white, and I got pulled over a couple weeks ago because my tail light was out. That's probably maybe even a month ago. Very careless. I really didn't care. I was pulled over. Like I wasn't scared. Like I had my joint in the car and everything. Like I was chilling. Like, but then I really like. Put me in a position, like I was telling my kid's father about it. He was like, "Are you crazy? Ooh, you could have went to jail." I'm like, you know what? I really could have. And I was super careless because I'm like, my driver's license says I'm white. Like, I got my license. Like, I got insurance. Like, the joint was in there. I mean, it's really weird. And I just sat there for a long time and thought about, like, dang, like that's crazy to be scared of something that's supposed to protect you. And like, I'm sitting here careless, like. Hitting 50 down, you know, 25 high, you know, just like really, I'm just like, wow, like I need to get my life together because I mean, really like that's not okay.
Absolutely love you.
But
no, it's true. And I mean, there was a whole.
That's why I asked what his reasoning was.
Yeah,
you know, for him to not claim that, because I have a reasoning. I don't claim being black. I don't claim being white. I feel like I'm a mixed person. Like there's certain things, like this is the blackest hairstyle I've had. You know, but there's certain things I can't do with my hair that black people can do. There's certain things I can't do with my hair that white people can do. I've tried both, and like my hair has been damaged both times. I have mixed people hair. I do. I feel like I'm like,
and that is
I'm really a mixed person.
That is something that I didn't realize until my dad got biracial foster kids. They're half black, half white, and I mean, like the family that I have, because we have a lot of mixed family in my family, a lot. Half black, half white. But it was not until he got him that I really sat and realized, oh my God, damn, this girl got mixed hair. It's not a thing. It's not like black hair, but it's not like white hair, and it's like mixed. It is. It's mixed, and I'm just like, it can go either way. You can break a comb sometimes in it, or some days it's just falls wonderfully in his, and the way that even that you have to take care of her hair because she has mixed hair. So you can't take care of it like a white person's hair, but you can't take care of it like a black person's hair either. And it's just like,
it was stressful growing up because obviously my dad worked a lot. He was there, you know, on the financial aspect, but he worked a lot, so he wasn't always physically there. But like my mom being white, like she didn't know how to do my hair. So I mean, like half the days at school, I was blessed to be a cute kid because she didn't, you know, just literally take a comb to it and just put a little water, not knowing the water's not gonna last all day. Like, some it will, and I'm just like, all right.
It just depends.
I had to figure it out
the humidity and the heat. It's, you know, it's just it's, and then too there was the story going around, I'm sure y'all saw it, where the little black boy was adopted by the two white
That
parents.
was cute.
Yeah, and he wanted his kindergarten class to come. And one of my friends shared it. In his kindergarten class, his teachers and all that, the whole class came and they witnessed him being adopted. The judge was on it. They all thought it was so cool. And one of my friends shared the story. And he said, it's so sweet, but it's so sad at the same time. And I'm like, what's sad about it? Like, this little boy
the way he's gonna grow up.
Exactly. And then I thought about it and I said, okay, he explained it. I said, that does make sense because, you know, we went to school with kids who were Black, who were raised by white people, and they
look crazy. And I'm not even being rude.
No, like I remember in middle school, I remember they would come and you have some parents, not all, but you had some parents who didn't know what to do with their hair because you have all white parents trying to raise a Black person and you don't know what to do. And so their heads would they just cut their hair off. Yeah. Just cut it off because you don't know what to do with it. And it wasn't until they got so even going back to bullying, you know, they were bullied in school. And I've seen, and I won't say any names, but I've seen one of my friends be bullied because that's how her mom did her. And it wasn't until they got to like high school when they finally got around people who's like, let me do this here. And they actually have friends who grew up around Black people or actually could help them. And then they started taking care of their hair and learning how to take care of it. As a parent, though, when you adopt, you know, a child of another race, you need to prepare for those types of things. So I do kind of partially blame the parents because right now, personally, I get brave, but look, I'm going to send Shorty to the shop. We're going to send us $75 and call me then.
$75?
I know. But it's like the wash and like the blow dry, like the whole style. I don't know what's going on. Be a good parent. Yep. Yeah. You just don't have to. I agree. Together for me. Yeah, I agree. That's definitely something that falls back on the parents. And I wonder if they, like, for me, here at the Culture Shock, we are honest. Thoughts and prayers to Lexi. Because you know what? Lexi don't even really know if she wants kids. Because I've been to make my kids sit down and watch Jesus get crucified if they got on my nerves. Like, I would be that kind of parent. Like, I don't need no kids. Like, I sit up and torture my godmom's daughter. Now she's 6. And, like, I keep telling her Santa is watching you. Like, he can hear. It don't faze her at all, does it? Yes, it does. It scares the life out of her. And I know it does, so that's why I keep doing it to her. It's like, I'm a horrible big sister. Oh, I'm 26. I was the baby until she came. And, like, but I would try to educate myself. So if I adopted a child outside of my race, I would want to educate myself on first, you know, okay, how do I do this? I would even want to make sure, unless they just absolutely didn't want to, I would even want to like make sure that this kid was around like their family or somebody in their family. So that way, because I would hate for a child to feel like, you know, my mom, my dad gave me up and my whole family just got rid of me and don't want me. Like, I think about those kind of things. I don't know. I'm getting sentimental in my old age. That's okay. Yeah, I didn't have fun. That's what's up. My kids have outsmarted me, the Santa thing. Yeah, because I'm like, Santa's watching. All right, you guys aren't going to get none. You're not either because you cussed. Like, well, whoa. No, Nevaeh, she y'all want to watch the movie now? Right. No, Nevaeh is so my mom. So every year my mom, she's like the favorite aunt in the family. Oh, and so nice. Auntie. Yeah, so auntie with the alcohol. That's auntie with alcohol. Yeah. So Nevaeh is just head over heels about my mama. This is my godmom's little girl. And so my mom sent, it was a picture of the Nordic Weather Center, and they're the ones who do the Santa tracker every year. Oh, so she thought it would be cute to send a picture to Nevaeh and Elijah and be like, hey guys, Santa's getting ready for his takeoff. Look, they're getting the center ready so they can track. And Nevaeh's response was, what the heck is Auntie Carrie doing talking to Santa? What did she tell him? I'm like, scared. You got scared, huh? So now he's on Nevaeh stuff like, you know, Santa can hear everything you say. And I told her, I was like, he kind of like God. He hear and see everything. At that point. And she was like, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, can you tell Auntie Carrie, don't tell Santa? Like, are you going to tell her, don't tell Santa? No. As a matter of fact, I'm calling Santa myself. I'm just a horrible person. Hey, Carissa.
I love you. Guys, we had a great time. I am so happy that my co-hosts were here with me. Shout out to the Weekend War Zone. Make sure y'all tune in to my, oh, hell, she here. She can do a jazz. When the Weekend War Zone is.
Every weekend.
Starting
Friday
when?
through Sunday. Me and my girl Nala, Pop Your Shit Podcast. We can come on the Anchor FM app. Sponsored, because that's who's paying me right now.
Okay. Give me my point.
Yes, right. We do a live every single Sunday, and our topics. Okay, we start off with the topic, but then look, we just be going into a full-on discussion.
Kind of like us.
But yes, I do drop a podcast every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes.
And I saw that it was on Apple Music, on iTunes.
On Apple Podcasts,
Yes.
On Spotify, and,
Shout out to Jazz. I'm so proud
just
of her.
trying to get paid.
You know, nothing wrong with that. Yes, absolutely. And then, when's yours?
So look, my next I don't have a specific day for it. I'm gonna try to get more consistent with it, but you can find me on the Anchor app as well. Pop Your Shit Podcast. So
So remember, Weekend War Zone with Jazz and Pop Your Shit Podcast. We'll be making sure to shout them out every week. Be staying tuned for us next Friday when we are back here on the couch with the three of us. Be watching out because we got the holiday. The holidays are in full effect, as you guys know. So we had Holly Dazzle tonight. Thanksgiving parade, or the Christmas parade was last week. Get ready for our Kwanzaa edition. Habari Ghani, Harambe, and all that fall raw. We're gonna be doing the Nia Kuji Chagulia and all the other days of Kwanzaa that we got to go ahead and talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna
talk about it. We're gonna be in the native garb. I'm sure be watching out because chances are New Year's Eve we're going to do the year countdown and have New Year's Eve. You dig?
That's exciting.
Either at Mr. Producer's house or my house, probably at Mr. Producer's house, and then at midnight, if we at my house, y'all getting the hell out because I'm going to bed. So that is all we have for you tonight. Don't drink and drive. Read your Bible or whatever you read. Read the dictionary if you want to. Either way, we are the Weekend War Zone and the Culture Shock, and we will see you at the conference. No, we won't. All right, Mr. Producer. Love you guys. Peace.
Bye.